ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम्। So we were looking at the Adhyasa Bhashya, which is the introduction to Shankaracharya's commentary on the Brahma Sutras, and we were seeing that before the Brahma Sutras are studied, one should have what is called as Sadhana Chatushtaya, which will lead to the Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana of the Upanishadic statements, and which will lead to the knowledge of Brahman. So, what is the goal of study of the Brahma Sutras? The Purushartha, or the supreme fruit, that is realization of Brahman, and that will remove what is Naisargika, or what is beginningless. And what is beginningless? It is our ignorance and Adhyasa. This Adhyasa, which we saw earlier, Adhyasa is the mutual superimposition of the self and the not self, Atma, Anatma, mutual superimposition of the self and not self, also their attributes. So this Adhyasa will be removed. And when this Adhyasa is removed, then we will stop having faith or having our minds caught in the Loka Vyavahara, in the regular expressions of Aham idam, Mama idam, etc. I am this, this is mine, etc., which is false identity. So the commentators give the identity like there is a log of wood which is kept in salt mine for a long time. So that log of wood can be a log of sandalwood. It is kept in salt mine, and it has become like salt. Means because it is kept in salt mine, it is covered all with salt, and only when one goes into the mine, and then when it is brought out, one thinks that it is a lump of salt, but later on discovers that it is a log of wood. Similarly, there are so many other examples. Swamiji gives the example of lion and sheep. So a cub which is brought up with sheep, the lion thinks that it is a sheep, and it is saying ba ba like that. And lion, when it is saying like that, so one day one lion goes and sees, and was surprised that this sheep, it is producing the sound of a sheep. Then he took that lion cub aside and said, look at your reflection in the water, and you are actually lion. So that is the idea. So this is a very old Vedantic tale told to show that we are thinking ourselves to be body and mind. Because of that, because of this mistaken identity, we have all the suffering. And so to remove that, to remove the suffering, we have to study the knowledge of the identity of Brahman and Atman. Another example which can be given is that, which we know, which we have already seen, that a physician will first diagnose the problem and then move on to cure it, to treat it by giving the proper treatment or the medicine. Similarly, Shankaracharya first identifies the problem, and here the problem is Adhyasa. Adhyasa is the root cause of all sufferings, and so he is now giving the medicine. What is the medicine? The medicine is Brahma Atma Aikya, the knowledge of the identity of Brahman and Atman. So that is what is he doing here in Adhyasa Bhashya. Now, what is the difference between Advaita Vedanta and other philosophies? Other philosophies also, like Nyaya, Sankhya, etc., they start with the premise that there is suffering, and they also say that there is superimposition of the self with the not self, superimposition of the self on the not self, etc., or of the not self on the self, mutual superimposition. But they give their own remedy for the disease. So the problem is not with the diagnosis of the disease itself. The problem or the difference is in the remedy. Like we go to different systems of medicine, everyone more or less understands the disease, but they give different kinds of remedy. So here also the problem is with the difference in remedy, not with the diagnosis of disease. And all these different systems, even in Vedanta, Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita, etc., which are of course later than Shankara, but might have been there. Means the Acharyas were later than Shankara, but those ideas were there even before Shankara. That is what we understand. So they all give different kinds of remedies for the suffering. They all give different kinds of remedies for the suffering. But they don't talk about the identity of Brahman and Atman. They talk about multiple realities. Most of them talk about multiple realities. It is only Advaita Vedanta which talks about complete identity of Brahman and Atman. And another thing is that though all of these people, they give their own ideas of um, treatment of the suffering, though they do that, but none of them talks about the root cause. None of them talks about the root cause, that is superimposition. It is only Shankaracharya, even in the Advaita Vedanta tradition, it is only Shankaracharya who hits on this point, and that is why this introduction to Brahma Sutra Bhashya becomes very important, and it is called Adhyasa Bhashya. And so we can say that it is the best introduction to any philosophy possible, and that is something which could be called, in the words of Nyaya, as Sarvatantra Siddhanta. That means a standpoint which can be applied to any tantra or any philosophy. So if one has to explain superimposition, adhyasa, which is accepted by almost all philosophies, all Vedic philosophies, Astika Darshana, then the Adhyasa Bhashya will be the best text to go to prove the existence of superimposition.
Maharaj, I have a question. Yeah. Even in Sankhya, that Purusha and Prakriti, like it's not considered as an adhyasa. No. Okay.
Sankhya posits multiple means dual realities. Dual realities. There is no identification. But what the tradition believes is that Adhyasa Bhashya is the best introduction to superimposition itself. So there the superimposition is not, the superimposition is between Purusha and other things. That is the superimposition. So you have to understand, you have to get the knowledge of the Purusha. That is what is being told. So now we have understood the two sections of Adhyasa Bhashya. They give us these things. First they talk about the sadrishya or the similarity between what is superimposed and on what it is superimposed, and the non-distinction of the object and the substratum of that object where it is superimposed. Now the example given is, suppose there is shell and there is silver. So we mistake shell for silver, mother of pearl, that is. We mistake shell for silver because there is a similarity of brightness. Why? We don't mistake, say, if there is a black broken piece of a pot which is black, we will not mistake that for silver because it is dissimilar. Um, and also when we know that silver and the shell, they are totally different, then also there will not be mistaking of one another. The mistaking happens only when there is similarity and there is no apprehension or the understanding of distinction. That is when mistake happens. So this idea, that is why we find that first thing is that there is a similarity and sadrishya, and then there is something called Veda Agraha, means there is non-distinction or non-apprehension of the distinction. So that is why Tama Prakashavat Viruddha Swabhavayoho Yushmad Asmad Pratyaya Gocharayoho Itaretara Bhavanupapattihi. So you see that if the opponent, the first line the opponent said is, if there was no what you call there, if there was distinction between both of them, if it was completely understood, then there would have been no logical ground for superimposition to happen. So if we understood that they are so different like light and darkness, then there would have been no ground to confuse one another. But because that is not understood, that is why this confusion takes place. And then Shankaracharya says, Atyanta viviktau viviktayoho itaretara vivekena avivekena itaretara avivekena atyanta viviktayoho. So it is happening because of the non-apprehension of the completely distinctive things. It is because you are not able to understand that they are completely distinctive, completely separate, completely distinct. And we say aham idam mama idam iti naisargikoyam loka vyavaharah. And because of not understanding this, the error comes, that is the natural worldly usage. Of course, there is an exception where such things don't happen, means though we know about the distinction of the two things, but still there is a confusion. Like in the case of mirage, we know that sun rays are completely different than water. Sun rays are hot, water is cold. All these distinctions we know when we are seeing mirage. And nowadays we see that even in tar road. So when we see mirage, when we mistake mirage, even then we have this distinction, knowledge of distinction. So why is that is happening? Because of a samskara, because of an impression of something which we have seen earlier. Purva drishta. So that we will see later. Now, just now we will see the object that we have seen earlier, that leaves an impression on our mind, and that causes a superimposition later. So you see, if suppose a person sees a shell and that person has never seen in one's lifetime silver, for that person there will be no superimposition because there is no other memory of no other object. So there is no memory of any other object. So that person will not have any superimposition. It is only when a person who has earlier seen silver sees the shell that there is superimposition. So, and also there is something called Anirvachaniya Khyati. Anirvachaniya Khyati. That is what is going to be told in the next section. And this cognition, or this thing which one has seen earlier, need not be a true knowledge. It can be a false knowledge also. It can be a false knowledge also. It is not necessary that you have seen something which was a true knowledge earlier, and now you, because of your memory of that past knowledge or past cognition, you superimpose something with something else, on something else. That is not necessary. What you saw in the past also could be false. And you see that always we see that because of some tradition, or because of some rumor, or because of some local custom, etc., a particular thing is wrongly understood over years and years. So that is also seen here. Now, so that means we can have three reasons for superimposition. One is the similarity between the object and the substratum. That means the similarity between what is superimposed and on what it is superimposed on, and the non-apprehension of the distinction between them, or the not knowing of the distinction between them. And third is, there could be some other reason also, just like in mirage. So now what happens is, this reciprocal superimposition, that means mutual superimposition of Atma and Anatma, and because of it the Loka Vyavahara, it creates something which has existed since eternity. So how do we understand that? It is like Bija Ankura. It is like seed and sprout, or we can say chicken and egg. So when did seed come first or sprout come first? We don't know. So this is something, if you go on asking which came first, that will lead to what? That will lead to only what is called as infinite regress. It will lead to something which is called as anavastha dosham. Now in the third section, we come to the third section. Shankaracharya talks about the characteristics of adhyasa. He talks about the attributes of adhyasa. So, aha, koyam adhyaso nama iti uchyate smriti rupaha paratra purva drishtavabhasah. So, aha, that means one is asking. Aha means has been said or is being told. Aha, one is asking. What is asking? Kaha ayam adhyasah nama iti. Kaha ayam. Ayam, it. What is it? Kaha ayam. What is it? Adhyasah nama iti. That is called adhyasa. What is it? That is called adhyasa. Adhyasa nama iti. Nama means called, iti as adhyasa. So what is it that is called superimposition? Uchyate. So Shankaracharya is writing, so that means people who belong to this tradition, Advaita Vedantins, they are telling Uchyate. We reply, what? Smriti Rupaha Paratra Purva Drishtau Avabhasah. Purva Drishtau Avabhasah. So Smriti Rupaha. Smriti Rupaha means that which is similar to Smriti, to memory. Memory of what? That which is a recollection. A recollection of what one has seen earlier. Paratra. means anyatra. Paratra means anyatra, means somewhere else, on a different place, at a different place, on a different location, at a different place. Purva drishtau avabhasah, of what has been seen earlier, you cognize it now. So cognizing or seeing something or experiencing something, perceiving something that you have already perceived earlier, only in a different place. So you have seen a dog in a place, in somebody's house, this is Rottweiler. And so you saw the same dog somewhere else, you say, oh, I know, this is Rottweiler. So you immediately identify the breed of that dog. So Purva Drishta Avabhasah, Purva Drishta Avabhasah, something which you have seen earlier and which you see again. It may not be just seeing, which you perceive again and in a different place, Smriti Rupaha, and it is just like recollection, just like memory. Perceiving something at a different place which you have already perceived somewhere else. That is, it is similar, Adhyasa is similar to that. Now, superimposition is now here defined. This is the superimposition definition. Now, wherever you have superimposition is being defined, so wherever you have any philosophy being discussed, it has got three parts. Philosophical treatises are supposed to have three parts. One is Uddesha, that means clear mention of the subject matter, and Lakshana, and definition of what has been told, and Pariksha. Pariksha is analysis, examination of whether the definition is correct and whether the subject is feasible to study, and whatever necessary proof, pramana, is necessary to establish the subject. So Uddesha, Lakshana, Pariksha. Uddesha, Lakshana, Pariksha. These are the three characteristics of any philosophical treatise. So Trividha cha shastrasya pravrittihi uddesho lakshanam pariksha cha iti. So similarly, Adhyasa Bhashya, if you have to consider Adhyasa Bhashya as a separate treatise, then Adhyasa Bhashya is very brief. Of course, it is brief, but it has got these three things. So earlier, Adhyasa Bhashya, first two sections, it has told that Adhyasa is the theme, subject matter. Now, that is Uddesha. Uddesha means you are defining, you are telling your subject matter. Not defining, you are telling that this is the subject matter. Now in the third section, he is defining the subject matter. That is Adhyasa. What is Adhyasa? Now instead of telling the definition straight away, Shankaracharya puts it in a question answer form. He tells it in a question answer form. So first he asks the question, what is Adhyasa? Okay, why is he telling this in a question answer form? So that it can be put in the dialogue format between a guru and a shishya, between a teacher and a disciple. So now there could be an objection. Earlier Shankaracharya said that it is naisargiko loka vyavahara, that it is something which is common expression, which is popularly we do this. We say aham idam, mama idam, etc. I am this, this is mine, etc. So then one could say that, you see, I would not accept your argument that this is unreal, because whatever manifests itself is real. Whatever I can see, I can perceive is real. Now, you are saying that self is there, so self should manifest itself. But self is not manifesting itself. So that is not logical. You cannot say that what is being experienced or what is being practiced for ages together is wrong. So you see, Shasha Shringa, that means hare's horn. If you see a hare or rabbit from distance, you feel like it has got horn. Actually, it is not horn, it's ears. So you can say that it is Shasha Shringa, hare's horn. Now, if it is hare's horn, it does not exist because it is unreal. And so we can say it does not exist because it never exists. Nobody has seen hare's horn. Similarly, Akasha Kusuma, a flower in the sky, also nobody has seen. So we can say it does not exist. So how can you say that the conscious self is there? So whatever we see, that exists. So we see this, and so this is existing. And so similarly, the physical body, mind, senses, we see, we use. So all these exist, they are all real. How can then you can say that they are not real, they are all unreal? It is not possible. It is not possible. So it could be that the person has such kind of a logic in mind. It could be that the person has such kind of an objection in mind, and so the person is with that intention asking, okay, tell me what is this adhyasa? You're telling adhyasa, tell me what is adhyasa. Like in ordinary parlance also, common talking, we say, Arey, you are constantly telling this is what is the problem with you? What is your problem? We ask like this. What is your problem? So maybe this opponent has got this, oh, you are constantly talking about adhyasa. Now what is this adhyasa? What has happened to you? Maybe with that idea also, this question is being asked. That kaha means tell. Now, okay, let me ask. What is your problem? What is this adhyasa? Tell me, what is adhyasa? So now this is being told that Smriti Rupa Paratra Purva Drishtava Bhasah. Now here Shankaracharya will later on, he will talk about adhyasa as it has been told by other schools of philosophy, and he will tell that the definition which he is giving of superimposition or of adhyasa is something different. And then that objection with which this question could have arisen, that we don't see any unreality in body, mind, etc., that also will be washed. So that also Shankaracharya is telling earlier in the earlier section, Satya Anrita Mithuni Kritya. Satya Anrita Mithuni Kritya means coupling or combining Satya and Anrita, means falsehood and truth. So what is this thing? Smriti Rupa Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasah. Smriti Rupa Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasah. So what is superimposition? It is a perception or cognition on a paratra, on a different location, but it is Purva Drishta, Smriti Rupa, just like Smriti, just like recollection, and Purva Drishta, whatever has been already seen. Now, this word avabhasa itself can be seen as a definition of superimposition. The word avabhasa can itself be seen as a definition of superimposition, because avabhasa generally means something that is disregarded, something that is sublated. Avasannah, avamatah, va bhasah, avabhasah. So something which is avamatah means disregarded. Something which is sublated, avasannah. So some cognition that is disregarded. Bhasah means cognition. Avabhasah means avamatah bhasah means a cognition which is disregarded. So according to some commentaries, avabhasa itself can become a definition of adhyasa. Avabhasa itself can become a definition of adhyasa. And these commentators say that the word avabhasa itself means adhyasa, and the rest of the sentences which have been given here are just an elaboration, explanation of the concept of avabhasa. So avabhasa itself is adhyasa. So if we see the meaning of avabhasa, what does it mean? That a cognition which is either avasanna means sublated, or a cognition which is disregarded. So when I see a snake, I disregard the cognition of a rope. When I see the rope, I disregard the cognition of snake, but that is the correct cognition, seeing the rope. But when I see snake, I disregard the cognition of rope. And when I see the snake, I also sublate the cognition of rope with the cognition of snake. I sublate the cognition of snake with the cognition of rope. I confuse one another. So avabhasa itself is adhyasa. So according to these commentators, if somebody is asking what is adhyasa, you can say avabhasa. You can say avabhasa. Avabhasa means adhyasa. That is the idea. But now if we say Smriti Rupa Paratra Purva Drishta Avabhasa, then avabhasa means cognition. In that sentence, avabhasa does not mean avamata bhasa. In that sentence, avabhasa means just cognition. What you have cognizing something and recollecting something from memory in a different place. So earlier you have cognized, and in a different place now you are cognizing it, the same thing. That is what is avabhasa in the definition. So that idea cannot be taken as adhyasa. For avabhasa to become adhyasa, it has to have three qualities. What are the three qualities? First is paratra. It should be on a different location. So you are seeing a cow and suddenly you cannot say, aha, adhyasa happened. Right? You were seeing the cow, so you know it is a cow. What adhyasa has happened? It has not happened. That means there is some wrong, something wrong in your functioning. That cannot be taken. You see, something defective in your eyes or something defective in your brain cannot be taken as superimposition. Defective functioning of your perception cannot be taken as superimpose. Suddenly you are seeing one cow, suddenly you are seeing two cows, does not mean that it has become adhyasa, because you are seeing in the same location. So it has to be different location. Paratra. So it has to be something which you have not seen earlier. You have not seen earlier. Something which you have not seen earlier. You are seeing the first time. That is the idea. Different location means what? You are seeing it for that particular object. You are seeing X maybe. That you are seeing for the first time. And it should be Smriti Rupa. It should be similar to your Smriti. It should be similar to what you are recollecting. So what you are seeing should be similar to what you are recollecting. That is the idea. It should be similar to what you are recollecting. Smritehe rupam iva rupam yasya saha smriti rupaha avabhasah. Means it has got the same form or the same nature of the cognition which is being recollected. Of the cognition which is being recollected. So you saw a snake, then you saw a zebra. You cannot mistake a snake with a zebra. You say, yes, I saw it earlier. That is also a problem in the mechanism. So defective things we cannot say that it is adhyasa. Sorry, you saw snake and this is zebra. What has happened to you? So, no, 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 I saw. So because of dementia or something, it may happen. But no, that cannot be taken. Or you have seen something, but you don't remember, etc. That cannot be taken as adhyasa. And also the present cognition, you see, the thing which you see now in front of you, avabhasa, the cognition which you see in front of you should be relating itself with that thing which is not present in front of you. So you saw one cow, somebody told you that this is cow. Next time you are seeing another cow, immediately nobody tells you that it is cow, but you are matching that with the cow which you saw earlier. So you are matching it with the cow which you saw earlier. So it is asannihita vishayatvam avidyamana vishayatvam. So that which is not sannihita, that which is not in front of you, that which is not vidyamana, that which is not in front of you. So it is not in front of you, but your cognition makes you think of that which is not in front of you. Means it relates automatically. Because there is smriti rupa, there is some similarity between that which was cognized earlier, which was perceived earlier. So it automatically makes that connection. And that connection is recollection actually. It is recollection. And so this is actually something which is purva drishta. So we have now three things. First is it should be paratra. Then second is it should be smriti rupa. And it should be purva drishta. So purva drishta means
I have a question. So what happens sometimes the same object can trigger multiple thoughts. For example, if there was a bad or a good incident with the cow, so maybe a cow can trigger some completely different thoughts, or maybe we can also think about God or any other thoughts. So in the same space, adhyasa cannot happen.
we
So
are no, it's a very good question. We are talking here about only the object, the thoughts connected with the object, not the other things connected with that. For example, you see in rope and snake analogy also, what is happening is when you see snake, you are immediately your heartbeat starts increasing, you start sweating and all that. But that is the consequences of adhyasa. You see. They are the consequences of adhyasa. We don't call them to be adhyasa. Adhyasa is that snake you saw. But consequences of adhyasa, just like in our case, consequences of adhyasa, that is seeing this universe in place of Brahman, is suffering. Dukkha is the consequence of adhyasa. So these are consequences. So seeing, maybe sometimes somebody saw a bull and that bull came and knocked that person or something. So next time that person will see a bull, that person will immediately recollect that incident. But we are talking about recollecting bull. We are talking about the object, not the other ramifications which come from it. Okay, so that is what we have, this abhinivesha. We have the clinging on to the body. Even a old person, when that person is say what you call person is attacked, or if some wild animal starts chasing that person, then that person will run with so much speed. Why? Because we have this remembrance of previous lifetimes, or even in this lifetime, that we have to cling on to this body. So that is not adhyasa. The adhyasa is that when we see this, we immediately connect it with the previous object. These are consequences of adhyasa. So purva drishta, that means something which has been cognized somewhere else. The locus is different. The location is different. Somewhere else we had cognized, and now we are cognizing it here. Purva drishta. And so if we take the shell silver example, so earlier you had seen the silver in a different location. If you see shell where there is shell, then there will be no adhyasa. You will know that it is shell. Okay, but you now see silver where their shell is actually. Instead of shell, you see silver. Why? Because it is Smriti Rupa. It is similar to silver and it is in a different location. So you confuse it. And it has been seen earlier, Purva Drishta. And it is like the Smriti Rupa. And it is Paratra in some other place. So these three things are there. Paratra, Smriti Rupa and Purva Drishta. But if we say that suppose we take only two characteristics, Paratra and Purva Drishta, then it will not be Adhyasa. That we do all the time. Silver is kept in one place and you saw silver. You see silver kept in another place also. So you had earlier seen silver and it is in another place. So Paratra Purva Drishta. Because it is actually silver. But the problem arises when it is Smriti Rupa. Means it is not actually silver. You are connecting it with the recollection. Okay, so that is what happens with people also. Somebody saw someone in Kolkata, then again that person is seen in Bangalore. So then there will be no confusion. Oh, I saw you in Kolkata. So that is okay. But when it is adhyasa, when it is superimposition, then you are not seeing the same person. Okay, you are not seeing the same person.
Maharaj, that means these three things have to happen, no? Paratra, Shriti Rupa and Purvadishta. Then only Adhyasa is possible.
Yes, that is the thing. So now here the problem is that in superimposition, as Shankaracharya told us, Satya, Anrita, these things are there. So something is real and something is unreal. The part which is similar to silver is real, but silver is unreal. There is no silver. Only the shining is there. Silver is not there. Just like in snake rope, only the coil is there. Snake is not there. So that is why Mithuni Kritya, coupling of truth and untruth. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.